I really wanted to react to Emma Vigeland being on CNN. I fucking love Emma. I think she's great. As someone who doesn't see enough of women on lefty politics, in my personal opinion, seeing her being so vocal and so out there is just such a joy. And so she was on CNN panel Friday and she fucking killed it. She killed it. And so I wanted to react to the clips of her because I think it's really important whenever there's lefties that are on mainstream media, we support them because it's so rare. So when they get their love and their shout out, we have to support. So obviously had to react to this. So here's a few of the clips that have come out about Emma on the Abby Phillips show on Friday night on CNN. I would like to say pause on politics. Her makeup looks fantastic. She looks fantastic. She looks beautiful as ever. So obviously had to mention that as well. Okay, let's get into it. This is the first clip that I saw. So let's go.
Not just to Americans, but to their own people. You talked about rights and things. They killed 30,000 people.
I don't defend.
So I don't know who this guy is. The one that's sitting next to her, this guy. But whenever there's someone like a black person who's a Republican or like a Hispanic person that's a Republican, I always question them like thoroughly because it's like, how can you be a person of color and being a Republican? Like, Republicans literally despise you and your people. But like, that's a story for a different day.
Not just to Americans, but to their own people. You talked about rights and things. They killed 30,000 people.
I don't defend the Iranian government, but the reason that we have this government is because they...
So there's no evidence that the Iranian government killed 30,000 people. There is no evidence of that. What the evidence that has been reported is up to 7,000 to 10,000 people that died, were either killed by the Iranian government, killed by Mossad, killed by CIA, killed in protests, but it is not 30,000. So I want to make that clear because I really, really hate when people go on these shows and say the Iranian government killed 30,000 people or 50,000 people. There's no evidence of that. There has never been evidence of that. We still to this day don't know the correct amount.
They reinstalled the Shah.
He asked you a question about, do you want Iran to have a nuclear bomb? And
the reason this government exists is because...
Why is that? Why shouldn't Iran have a nuclear weapon? America and Israel has shown that if you don't have nukes, we will take you over. So why shouldn't Iran not have nukes? Good morning. I'm not talking about Iran right now. I'm talking about Iran in a little bit. But right now it's not looking so hot. That is the update, the quick update I can give you right now. But I really hate when people are like, Iran shouldn't have nukes. What gives the United States the right to say that? What gives Israel the right to say that? I mean, we don't bother places that have nukes. China, we don't bother. Russia, we don't bother. North Korea, we don't bother. It's because they have nukes. Israel, we don't fucking bother. And they have nukes, even though they lie about it all the fucking time that they don't.
I don't want anyone to. I want we should have denuclearization and prosperity, and Israel shouldn't have nukes either.
You're really piling on Emma because I have not heard either one of you say anything critical of either the U.S. military operation right now, either the fact that Israel has more of a plan and a strategy, and the United States, which is supposed to be leader, is following Israel. I mean, come on. I'm asking you now to clarify this point. How do you guys feel about the United States following another country's military strategy?
Queen, I don't know who this is. But I'm so glad she's like, Y'all haven't said shit about how we're only listening to a foreign government. That's the reason we're in war right now. Why haven't you said anything about Israel? Love that. Love that.
I think we're doing an incredible job militarily.
Not very
many people say otherwise.
Iranians are Israel's conquest of southern Lebanon. Are we
just to Americans, but
I don't really know what the ending said. Okay. This is another part. He's like so offended too, whoever this guy is.
we'll take action. I don't want that to happen. We'll take action. I don't want that to happen. I don't think anyone at this table or any of the American public wants that to happen, but everyone should be on notice that this is a president of action who will, in fact, do what he needs to do to carry out his mission of protecting the American public.
I've never felt so unsafe that with Trump being president. I've never felt so unsafe. I've never felt more in danger than having Trump as president because of all of the endless war, the endless vitriol, the endless violence, the endless corruption that he has enabled. The fact that he's a pedophile human trafficker and no one fucking wants to talk about that. I've never felt more unsafe. But yeah, sure, let's trust him because he has the rights, because he's the president and because he knows better.
What do you mean as a state sponsor of terrorism, though? How do you define terrorism?
Are we going to argue that Iran is literally the number one?
Is Iran committing genocide in Gaza right now, like the Israeli government is, which dragged
get him, girl. Get him.
us into this war, which every president prior
number one sponsor of terrorism.
Wait, I gotta put that back. What? Say that again.
Which every president prior
number one sponsor of terrorism.
For 47 years, the Iranians have killed Americans and our allies across this world.
What about the United States? What about Israel? You cannot tell me that the United States is not the largest country that puts terrorism to shame with the amount of harm that they cause. Let alone Israel, who literally has been committing a genocide for 2.5 fucking years, who yesterday, literally, the Knesset said, hey, we're only going to execute Palestinians who are detained and they have a 99.97% rate where they are found guilty. So 99.97 Palestinians are going to be executed, and that's not terrorism? That's supposed to be okay? That's supposed to be, we're supposed to accept that?
Okay.
They're trying to obtain nuclear weapons so they can annihilate Israel and potentially...
Okay.
Doesn't he kind of look like mashed potatoes? I'm sorry, but he looks like mashed potatoes. I can't stop looking at him and be like, you're like a mashed potatoes kind of man. Like, you just look like mashed potatoes. And someone who his name is Pete C, but to me, he's mashed potatoes.
Capitals in Europe.
There's no evidence of that.
There's no evidence that Iran would ever do that. There's evidence that Israel would do that, but there's no evidence of Iran doing that. Yeah, he's like mashed potato-y. Like, you look at him, he's pale as fuck. He looks like mashed potatoes. I'm sorry. Like, he's mashed potato pizza.
The JCPOA was actually a successful deal that Obama negotiated.
I find it appalling that you're an Iranian apologist.
Yeah, this is so. There's nothing I can do that call out Israel's genocide and then everybody swarms.
No.
This is the one thing that you can't say. It's the one thing you can't say. It is about Gaza. This is about.
I just don't understand. Why is her saying that Iran has every right to have nukes? Her being an Iranian apologist. Or I just don't understand that.
A regional conflict that's spiraling out of control that the president is adding to.
But that there's no evidence that Iran wants nuclear weapons. They lied.
There has been a religious edict.
Okay, you know who else fucking lies? Israel. Israel fucking lies all the time. Israel has fucking nukes. And yet apparently everyone has amnesia when it comes to Israel. They literally, the Ayatollah that the United States just fucking murdered with Israel had a fatwa that literally said that he would never have nukes. Now we fucking murdered him And the one that's replacing him is his fucking son, who we murdered not only his dad, but we murdered his wife and his children. So I don't think that this new Ayatollah is going to be very fucking happy with the United States and Israel, and is going to really give a fuck about what the United States wants. Also, yet again, what gives the United States the right to say you can have a nuke, you can have a nuke, you can have a nuke. You can't have a fucking nuke. What gives us the right to do that? Nothing.
Has said since 2003 that they should not be creating a nuclear weapon.
To the United Nations. They lied to the international.
We killed the Ayatollah, the older father, who was actually against building a nuclear weapon because he thought that it was going to contribute here.
I'm shocked that you are defending the Iranians, and I got to tell you, I hope that you tuck yourself in at night under that pillow of lies that you just told about the Iranians. That is a crock of a word.
Your pillow of lies. I'm sorry, but if you've ever seen Elf, that literally reminded me, like, you smell like beef and cheese. You sit on a throne of lies. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You sleep on a pillow of lies. Like, what are you saying?
Word I can't see on national television.
Okay, so the United States is funding a government that an Israeli human rights group that Selim says is committing genocide, as is Amnesty International, as is every credible human rights group right now. We are there's a massacre in Gaza. There are hundreds of thousands of people unaccounted for under rubble. That's what I define as terrorism. Yep. Now, Iran is now exerting their leverage over the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, is Hezbollah a terrorist organization?
Do you want the Iranians to have a nuclear weapon, yes or no?
Thousands of people.
Okay, she's still talking about actual terrorism, and all they can say is, "Do you think Iran wants nuclear weapons?" I'm sorry, mashed potato man, but that has nothing to do with the fact that Israel is a terrorist, apartheid, genocidal state, and also the fact that the United States is a terrorist, genocidal country. I mean, come on.
Died at the hands of Iran would disagree with your personal description of what terrorism is, and I'm sorry, it doesn't meet the bill of what it actually
killing
is.
Civilians is what.
What is his definition of terrorism then? If murdering civilians is not is not terrorism, I'm very curious what his definition of terrorism is then.
I define it
as a diplomat.
Shocking. Okay, let's see.
And Trump acquiesced on that and agreed with him. So this is a guy that celebrates war crimes, that celebrates loosening the rules of engagement, and is responsible for bombing and double tapping, I will repeat, a girls' school where over 100 girls in Iran were killed. And then we talk about how, they just hate us for our freedom. No, they hate us because we bomb girls' schools.
Well, actually, before that incident happened, which I think was horrible, and we made a mistake, and we should, there should be accountability there.
Double tap.
Making a mistake is sleeping through your alarm and being late to work. Making a mistake is putting Dr. Pepper instead of Diet Coke. Double tapping a girls' school is not a mistake. It's not. And I hate, that's 168 children that the United States murdered, on top of the fact that we murdered their teachers as well. That's 168 girls' futures, future diplomats, future presidents, future artists, future politicians, future engineers, scientists, the future of our country, or the country for Iran. We murdered them. So there's no mistake in murdering 168 children. That's not a mistake. Double tapping them is an even bigger bullshit excuse to say that it's a mistake.
The country, they were yelling death to America in Iran long before we did that. So they hated us.
I don't give a flying fuck. Why is that the number one thing is, they said death to America, so that means that we have to fucking double tap their girls' school. You know, we literally did a coup against their democratically elected official and installed the Shah of Iran, who literally was terrible to them. So of course they fucking despised us. I just don't understand how them saying death to America means we have the right to fucking murder 168 children. It doesn't give us the right to do that. And I'm so fucking sick of these people saying like, oh, they say death to America. So because they say death to America, that gives us the right to be the fucking terrorists of the entire world. Go fuck yourselves.
Because we overthrew their government.
Back to the Iran thing. They hated us long before that. The second point that I would make is it's
and Trump.
Yeah, Emma's right. Because we overthrew their government. We literally overthrew their government. And the reason we overthrew it is because they wanted to nationalize their oil and the United States was against that. So we overthrew it with the help of Britain. This was another incredible moment.
The $11 billion figure, what we're spending a day on this war of choice in Iran. Bernie Sanders' proposal in 2019 for college for all, let's adjust it for inflation. I think it was like nearly $50 billion, but let's make it 60. You could pay for college for all for Americans in a week with what we're spending in Iran. And you know what a lot of these young men and women who are signing up to be on the front lines, who might die in this war in Iran, are signing up for? Yes, in many ways, patriotism, a sense of duty, but college education.
Yep.
These are the choices that we have made as a country. And this is the choice that Donald Trump is making. And in terms of the market being disconnected from the reality of people's lived experience, I mean, the top 10% right now is responsible for 50% of consumer spending. You have record over record of credit card debt being hit month over month in this country. Subprime auto delinquencies are at an all-time high, a record high. People are hurting in their everyday life. And yes, the market may be inflated right now due to a lot of speculation about AI, but there are many indicators that that bubble is going to burst sometime soon. And what may accelerate that is what we're seeing with this war in Iran.
I mean, no notes. Complete fact. I mean, I have spoken multiple times about the fact that one of my best friends is a veteran. And the reason that she went into the military was because of college. Plain and simple. She went in because she wanted a college education and she got a college education. That is the reason she went into the military. So it's fact that more and more people cannot afford college because student loans are fucking insanely expensive. People cannot afford college. So they join the military because they are like, okay, this is another way I can do it. Then it looks good on my resume that I was in the military. Then I can also get the benefits. Who gives a fuck that I'm going to have PTSD? Who gives a fuck that I'm probably going to end up with disability? Who gives a fuck? Because at the end of the day, this is a better way to meet some accomplishment in my life than being stuck in bankruptcy, because that's what happens in this country because we don't have free college. But we have enough money for war. Never forget, we will always have enough money for war. We will never have enough money for universal health care. We will never have enough money for feeding the poor. We will never have enough money for infrastructure. We will never have enough money for public housing, but we will always have enough money to fund wars. Always. Always. Okay. So let's see. Let's see. Why are you not working? That's annoying. Okay. I think that is oh, this one's funny. This one's the next one that I wanted to see.
That the American public, I think, is sitting at home watching this, gripping their chairs at the idea that you are a Iranian sympathizer. And the people
gripping their chairs?
The people that, well, and it's not funny. The idea of what the, and that's scary. The idea of what the Iranian regime has done around the world, not just to Americans, but to their own people. You talked about rights and things. They killed 30,000 people.
I don't defend the Iranian government, but the reason that we have this government.
American public.
I'm sorry. We literally are. are kidnapping people off the streets with massive men in the United States. We literally murdered 2 American citizens in daylight and 1 in the nighttime, Ken Porter Jr. So please cry me a fucking river when you're saying, oh, the American people are gripping their chairs knowing that you are an Iranian sympathizer when the United States is currently causing domestic terrorism on their own soil. Cry me a fucking river. Emma doing the Lord's work and doing an incredible job as always on CNN. I hope they continue to ask her back. I love when she's on. She always has banger takes. And she always makes a point to bring up the genocide that is happening in Gaza. She always makes a point to call out Israel. And I think the more and more times people hear it, the more people are going to connect with the fact that, why is it that the United States has the right to say who has nukes or not when Israel has illegal nukes and yet no one has been able to analyze them? What gives them the right? But what gives Iran the right to not have nukes? The math ain't mathin'. Nothing is connecting. So, yeah, I wanted to just react to that because I thought she did a great job on that. And I was just really impressed.